Hey everybody, JTISREBORN here, and welcome in. In today's review, we're going to be continuing our quest through the DC animated movie lineup with a review of Batman and Mr. Freeze, Subzero. Released in the year 1998, this movie was originally supposed to be released back in 1997, around the same time as Batman and Robin. However, after that movie's poor critical reception, this film got delayed so that it could better distance itself from that film, since both films revolved around the character of Mr. Freeze, and let's just say that most people didn't want to see Mr. Freeze after what they did with the character in Batman and Robin.
Louder, come on, sing, come on! Yes, come on, louder!
It's pretty sad that the movie for kids, Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, is more adult than the film that was supposed to be meant for adults, Batman and Robin. You know what I mean? I mean, the kids' movie is more mature than this big budget film starring all these huge stars, well, Arnold and George Clooney, and Uma Thurman, Chris O'Donnell and Alicia Silverstone, but you get my point. Why was the kids' film more adult than the adult film? Continuity-wise, this film takes place after the events of the Batman the Animated Series episode Deep Freeze, and before the events of the new Batman adventures. So, yeah, that technically means that Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero is the end of Batman the Animated Series. You know, with that old school animation, this is the end of it, before they did the whole revamping with the new Batman adventures, introducing Tim Drake and Nightwing and Batgirl's coming into the fold, and they're all working together as a team. Yeah, so that's technically the end of it, and as a way for the series to end, it's a good way to go out. It could have been better, but for the most part, it's a fine movie. So, with that out of the way, I wanted to warn all of you that I'm going to be getting into spoilers for this movie. So, in case you haven't seen it, or don't want to be spoiled, do yourself a favor and check out the movie, and then come back and watch the rest of this video. Can't say I didn't warn you. I mean, the movie is like 20 years old by now, so yeah, let's get started. Anyways, as the movie begins, we see Mr. Freeze, who has settled into the Arctic along with his wife Nora, with whom he is still searching for a cure for. He also lives with his pet polar bears and a kid named Kunek, that Mr. Freeze has taken care of after the kid's parents had died. Everything seems to be going well for Mr. Freeze, but then for some reason, which I don't know why, a submarine shows up and crashes into where Freeze is keeping Nora and damages her cryogenic tube. So why does the crew of the submarine emerge in this exact spot where Mr. Freeze is with Nora? I don't know. The movie never explains anything. The only possible explanation that I can think of is that they're really, really stupid. So in retaliation for what happened to Nora, Mr. Freeze goes ahead and freezes the entire crew. We never actually do find out what happens to this crew, so I can either assume that they're still frozen up there, or they're all dead. Either way, it's pretty dark for a kid's film. I mean, Mr. Freeze just went on a killing spree and killed an entire submarine crew. Anyways, a few weeks after the incident, Mr. Freeze kidnaps a doctor by the name of Gregory Belson, who is an expert in the field of cryogenics, and is also a complete asshole. Belson also has a lot of unpaid debt and makes an agreement with Mr. Freeze in order to help pay off his debts in exchange for helping to save Nora's life. While examining Nora, Belson realizes that Nora's disease is spreading and that the only way to save her is through an organ transplant. Well, it also turns out that Nora is a very rare blood type, and there are currently no deceased donors out there for them to perform this organ transplant. So, they have to use a live one, and can you guess who that person is? Well, it's none other than Batgirl herself, Barbara Gordon. So Freeze kidnaps Barbara, who is currently on a date with Dick Grayson, and is then taken to Freeze's hideout that's on some abandoned oil rig. While there, they attempt to perform the operation, but Batman and Robin show up just in time to save her. What follows is a pretty entertaining climax. I mean, it's not as good as Mask of the Phantasms with that epic Joker laugh, but it's still a pretty good time. It's standard, but fun. The oil rig goes off, Belson dies, and Freeze is seemingly killed after Batman fails to save him. In the end, though, we find out that Freeze is still alive, and he finds out via a report on the news that Nora Freeze has been revived thanks to an organ transplant that was funded by Wayne Enterprises, and that it was the cryogenics technology invented by Mr. Freeze that ultimately saved her life. Hearing about this moves Mr. Freeze to tears as the movie ends with him walking off with his polar bears never to be seen again. That is until the new Batman adventures, where the rest of his body eventually deteriorates to the point where he becomes a talking, disembodied head, you know, like in Futurama. So that was Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. A very short movie, but still enjoyable. It's not as good as Phantasm, but I still liked it. Granted, its problems stem from its short length, and the fact that it doesn't really feel like a movie, but instead as a slightly longer episode from Batman the Animated Series. And in terms of Mr. Freeze stories set in the DC animated universe, I don't think this is the best one. If I had to pick a Mr. Freeze story that was better than this one, I would go with the Heart of Ice episode that was written by Paul Dini. I thought it was a bit stronger, it got more to the point emotionally, and God, that opening monologue is fantastic. Doesn't mean I don't like Subzero, I still do. I just think the Heart of Ice storyline was a lot stronger than this one. But that still doesn't make this a bad movie. Its animation still looks good for the most part, except for some questionable CGI that's used in it. Michael Ansara is still great as Mr. Freeze, and that voice he uses has such a great presence to it. It also does a good job in expanding on the Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon relationship before their eventual falling out in the new Batman adventures. In all honesty, the only character who kind of feels like lost in the shuffle here is Batman. Yeah, he's there, but is never really the focus in the movie. It's more about everyone else around him. Still, we have plenty of other movies and loads of episodes for that, although I kind of expected a little more in a movie that has Batman's name in the title. And that's going to wrap it up for this review of Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. Enjoyed the movie. Clock's in at just over an hour, so you can check it out. You're not going to be missing much. What do you have to lose? It's only an hour movie, basically. And, yeah, that's going to wrap it up for that review. I got some announcements to make at the end of this video, and then I'll wrap it up. I got a review of the Pirates of the Caribbean series coming out. Basically, the week that Dead Man Tells No Tales come out, like Monday, I'll have a review of Curse of the Black Pearl, then it'll be Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, On Stranger Tides, and then finishing it off with a review of Dead Man Tell No Tales. So Pirates Week is coming up. I also am in the stage of planning a review of Teen Titans The Judas Contract. I've been writing it since I first saw the movie, just occasionally here and there. I already had this review already written for a while, and I just never got around to filming it, so yeah, stay tuned for that. You can also check out some other videos on the channel, like after the movies and that, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. We can discuss it further there. If there's anything you wish to see me comment on next, just let me know. I'm open to suggestions or other videos and stuff too. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to reviewing some other stuff and maybe reviewing some more DC animated movies. We'll see. So, thank you all for watching, everybody. I hope you had a good day. Enjoy yourself. Go outside. Get some fresh air. Do something like that. Enjoy your day. Take care now. Bye-bye then.